Hey, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Pastor Brian. We call this our 4G podcast. The G's stand for what we focus on as a church. The first G is to gather. We want our people to gather together to give praise to God. The second is to grow. The third is to give what God has given to us. And the fourth is to go with the gospel. And today we're going to be talking about things that really apply to all four of those. But with me today is Jamie Ruberg and Rachel Brooks. Welcome, you guys. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having us.
You've both been at Edgewood. Jamie, let me just guess, 3 years?
I think about 3 years. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was a guess for me.
I think so.
Rachel, 4, 5?
4.
4,
yeah, 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of getting to know your mom.
Yep.
And your mom attended here. She attended another church where I was friends with the pastor, and then she moved this direction and started coming to Edgewood, and that's how I got to know you as well. Jamie and Rachel are both on the team at Rock Island Academy here in Rock Island. So, Jamie, let me start with you. Can you tell us your salvation story?
Sure. So I'm from Watauga, so by Galesburg, and we went to Colonial Baptist Church. And I was about 8 years old, and you know, at the end of church, they always tell you to raise your hand.
Yeah.
Well, I was always, believe it or not, a very shy kid, and so it took me a couple weeks. I know, right? It took me a couple weeks, and I was talking to my mom, and so I finally, got the courage to raise my hand. And I mean, I remember what the room looked like.
Did it go up slowly?
It did. I remember, okay, is this the time? Is this the, I can picture right now where we were, and a very nice soft-spoken woman just kind of tapped me and then took me to a different place. And I think had I known that it was going to be such kind of a soft moment, that I probably would have done it sooner.
Sure.
So I don't know, can't remember who it was.
Sure.
But
Doesn't
I just
matter.
remember the impact.
Yeah.
And it was, just someone who just very quietly, hey, let's go talk about this. So, yeah.
Does that come to your mind as a teacher and even helping out in Sunday school, that there's the quiet touch for a kid who's maybe a little scared and nervous is so important, isn't it?
It is, and I guess I've never really, thought about that, but it is so true, because there are times that, even today, where you just really, you're frustrated and you want to just kind of rise to the moment, and instead you're wait a second, that's not what this needs right now. I need to take a deep breath so we can move on together, so we have a safe space. So, yeah.
I'm reminded of Proverbs 15:1, a gentle answer turns away wrath. And I usually remember that verse afterwards. I wish I could remember it in the moment.
Yeah.
I wish I would have responded gently, because it can take things down.
Yeah.
Rachel, how about you? How did the Lord save you by his grace?
My mom, when she started coming here, she always wanted me to come with her. I'd go occasionally, but I wasn't I didn't come on a regular basis. Sure. And then after she passed, before she passed, she was given 2 months to live. And when they said that to her, and she didn't flinch at all. I mean, not even, she just was okay. And I was
my next stop is glory.
Yeah.
Right?
And I was losing it. And
Yeah.
I'm oh my gosh. So to watch her just respond that way, I was this is where I need to be. So, yeah.
And I remember you allowing me into that moment, and Pastor Ben.
Yes.
Before your mom went to glory.
Yep.
And your mom just wanting you and your girls to go to church.
Yeah. And then after she passed, Melody was we're doing this. So Melody was a huge inspiration. And then when she's I want to get baptized, and she just, so yeah, my daughter was a huge inspiration for it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, where you teach, what you do, how God led you into special needs education.
So I say I'm a late bloomer because I just turned 50, but I've only been teaching for about 20 years. So I had decided I wanted to be a teacher and had gone back to school, and that was the time that there was too many teachers. So I have my general education degree first, and I was at Colonial Kelowna for 2 years in what we would consider an in-school suspension room. Alternative instruction. And I was, new teacher. They said, this is the position. And I was nervous. And it was for junior high. So didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I was next door to the special education room, and I started doing a lot of research on behaviors, and I just started making up my own behavior contracts and looking up interventions, and I loved it. I love seeing the kids grow, because when they came to me, the reason I needed to be a certified teacher is I would continue their lessons. They would come down, we'd have homework.
You're not just on guard duty.
No,
Yeah.
like I was teaching them academics,
Yeah.
but I wanted to add more to it. I wanted to add that behavior piece. I was seeing frequent flyers. How can we change this so then you're in class learning?
Break the cycle.
Yes, and I loved it. So I went back to school to get my special education degree and have been a special education teacher ever since then. I've been at Rock Island Academy for 8 years.
8 years,
8
okay.
years. Mm-hmm.
I just love, like, both of your salvation stories are different. Same message saves us. It's the gospel, but God uses different methods. And so he's brought you into special ed teaching through this route. How about for you?
I also was kind of like a late bloomer. I didn't get my teaching degree till I was almost 30. And before that, I was a para in East Moline. And the amazing SPED team I worked with was like, you need to go get your special ed degree. Go do it.
So they encouraged you.
Oh, yeah.
They
big
saw
time.
something in you,
Yep.
right? Okay.
So I taught resource ELA at Glenview for 2 years. And then Amber, who used to be a teacher at the academy, she texted me and was like, there's an opening, apply. And I was like, oh, but East Moline's my comfort zone. But I'm glad I came because I love where I'm at. And now I teach instructional special ed, 5th and 6th grade.
How many years have you been there?
7th year.
Okay,
Year.
8 years, 7 years.
Yep.
Okay. You guys are veterans.
No, 6th year for me at the academy. 8
Okay.
years altogether.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What has serving students with special needs taught each of you about the heart of God?
I
Yeah,
guess I'll
good jump
start
in.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Well, each child, I think, is created so incredibly unique,
Yeah.
and they're just deserving of patience and love. And patience is something I have to work on a lot because I can get caught in the moment of just being frustrated.
Yeah.
And I just know if I take a step back and reflect, like, God can forgive me for everything, and I can take a step back and be patient with these kiddos. And yeah, so just patient and giving each kid all the love that they deserve, and tolerance, and helping other adults see that in them too.
That's very moving. I love both parts of your answer. Like, they matter because God made them. They're unique, but you are also honest that this is hard because it's frustrating. And so for those of you who are watching or listening, that's kind of life as a Christian, right? We're like, okay, I know this person matters, whether they have special needs or not, they're special. And therefore I want to minister to them. I don't want to lose this moment, but we get all up in stuff, right? It could be in our marriages, it could be with a neighbor, it could be whatever. So thank you for sharing that. How about for you?
I always think the hardest part of being a human being is not judging others. So I think about that a lot. So working with any type of students in the school system, I need my families and my students to know that they can come to me no matter what, and I'm going to try my best not to judge, but instead help them find a solution. So whether it's academics, it's behavior, it's something at home, I get really close to my families, and I'm sure that Rachel does too, because being a special ed teacher, you usually have students more than 1 year. So
Okay.
I'm right now, I'm a third, fourth, and fifth teacher, but I've been a kindergarten through sixth grade teacher. So, I mean, I've had.
So you know a lot of these students.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
and you get to know their siblings, and you know,
Yep.
and so that to me is like one of the big things is just taking a step back and thinking, wait a second, God forgives me, like He doesn't judge me, so I need to make sure that I'm reciprocating that, and people need to be comfortable coming to me. So.
It's putting tears in my eyes because in the preaching passage last weekend, it just like in the middle of it, it says that Jesus loves us. And it's during this painting this portrait of Christ and this resurrected image of who He is and in all of His glory. And John falls down on his face and it says He loves us. And He frees us from our sins. And that's beautiful. So both of you obviously have a heart I think both of you know God has you there on purpose. And while you're there, you're striving to love those who often are unlovable or hard to love. And recently, this I don't know what we call it, drive, movement. Can you just, one of you, fill in like how this blanket and pillow drive came about?
So we work with this amazing paraprofessional named Vicky, and
You want to give Vicky props, don't
I do.
you?
We
She
got to
needs
give
all the props.
All the props.
So it started with her?
Vicky.
Yes.
Yes. She is the person. She's always helped with Angel Tree, Shop with a Cop, but this is the first year she's been completely in charge.
Okay.
And so she came to me and was like, we do all these amazing things for our families and for our students, but it doesn't reach all of them. And she's like, I want to think of something that we can give to all of the students, something that they need, something that they will appreciate. And you also have to remember, not all of our students like celebrate Christmas. And
Because of their backgrounds,
Because of their
yeah.
background. We have over 200 students from other countries, and we're always mindful of that because
Sure.
we don't judge.
Right.
And so we're always very open, and we're wanting to include everybody. And so we were trying to think of something. Plus, students, it's like you didn't want to just get them a trinket.
Right.
Something they could use.
Something that would
Yes.
break, or a shirt
Yes.
or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of the eyes and the ears of the building, and she spends a lot of time because she has recess duty. She works with students one-on-one in small group, and she had noticed that some of the students had mentioned they were tired because they were sharing a blanket with a sibling or they didn't have a pillow. And so she just came up with this idea, hey, what if we got a pillow and a blanket for every single student? And I was like her hype girl, as in I was like, wow, this is crazy.
She needed a cheerleader.
She did, but because
you get your
she has this great.
pom-poms out?
I wanted to, because I honestly, I was like, this is not gonna work. I mean, it was.
seemed too
like,
big.
It seemed too big.
Because
for
aren't
the
there
time.
over 500
We
kids?
have over 500 kids, and she told me this at the beginning of like November.
Yeah.
and there's a
I'm
whole
like,
bunch of other drives
yes,
going on.
We got
right?
so many other things going on, in schools everywhere. It's a crazy time of year, and now we're going to ask people to do this thing. But I mean, she's such a sweet, honest, like caring person. I wasn't going to tell her no.
Well, plus you were starting to catch this vision, even
Yes,
though it
I
was bigger than.
Yes, and then and so
Right.
then I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I became like kind of her. I named myself her administrative assistant because I like spreadsheets, and I was like, okay, how are we going to do this?
Sounds
Let's
like you
sit
were
down.
the cheerleader too.
Yes. And so we sat down, we figured it out, and we announced it to the staff. And that day after school, we had people coming in and out going, what are we doing? But it was already a sense of, wait a second, this is really cool. And so
I'm
you
getting
could
goosebumps
see, yeah,
just as
so
I
you
think
could,
about it.
it was, you
So
could see the
fun.
staff going, are you crazy? But we're in.
Like, is this
Like,
gonna
That's
what
right.
can we do?
Yeah.
And people started making phone calls to businesses. People started like asking family members, and then we started just like trying to figure this out. And it was kind of fly by the seat of your pants, because then of course when stuff started coming in, we have no storage. So then we were like, but it was all coming together.
That's the best way.
It
though.
was, yes, it is.
'Cause then you- yeah.
Yeah, and then thankfully Rachel was like, hey, did you ask Edgewood? And I was like, no. So that was when
So
she
take it
sent
from
the
there.
text.
So you
Well, I
said,
heard, like one service they were talking about helping math and science, and I'm like, hey, maybe like Edgewood could be a resource for this. So
Yeah.
that's when I texted you, and
And
Yeah,
it
and
went
so
above
let's-
and beyond our expectations.
So my memory, and you jump in to correct, is you texted me, I think, a Sunday afternoon.
I
Would
don't
that
remember
be
what
right?
day of the week, but
But it was, I remember getting it like late in the afternoon.
yeah.
And because our phones are near us, I get the text, and I had a similar reaction to you, like, what? And I'm thinking, wait, we're involved at Rock Island, math
The
and
math and science.
math
Yep.
and science, and we did a 180 and Youth Hope, food pantry. I mean, all of that had already happened, and Operation Christmas Child. So I had some of those thoughts going through my mind, like, do we go to the well again? And I'm like, yes. But I knew the key people were Liesel
Yes.
and Sheila. So then I just copied your text. Like, I did nothing but pass it on, and then my phone just started blowing up. because they're like, yes.
Yeah, they both texted me like not even a half hour
It
after
was
you texted me.
quick. And we were like, okay, this is gonna make it. I mean, this
Yeah,
is
and
gonna
then we
send
just
us
started
over.
promoting it. I think we started social media, and then I put it in sermons. And somewhere in here I heard, and I don't know if one of you heard this or another staff person, that some of the kids didn't even have their own beds or were sleeping on the floor.
A lot of our students do not have their own,
And I think that's just
or
the
a bed
nature
in
of
general
it.
to sleep on. A
And
lot
I
of them-
shared that in a service, and oh my, I could just, it was like this palpable sense of like a gasp. Because we're all getting up for Christmas, like we're buying stuff for Christmas. And like, wait, some of them don't have beds? Why wouldn't I go buy pillows and blankets?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melody said it one of the youth group services. I'm not sure who got up and said it, but they said, imagine, like they're like, close your eyes. Imagine that you're at home or something, and all of a sudden you don't have your bed, you don't have a pillow, you don't have a blanket. And Melody said like kids are like weeping over it, and they're like, oh my gosh. So that's when the youth group did their gift exchange, I guess it was. Instead of gifts, they did the pillows and blankets,
Which was amazing. And
Yep.
we were, getting text messages, what number you guys at? Okay, can you come do a pickup? And thankfully we have a couple people with SUVs, and then what would happen is like Rachel and whoever would go out, and then they'd be on the phone, and I would get on, because it'd be after school, I would get on the intercom and say, the pillows and blankets have arrived. Anyone available? All hands on deck. Because then it was a lot.
me and Becky barely packed our SUVs. I mean, we had the seats down and just barely. Like I
The
had
nice
this
thing with
much-
pillows
yes.
and blankets, you can squeeze them.
You
You're not
can,
going to
but
break
we're
them.
just pulling them out, and we're like, this is amazing. But even just, it was also amazing how people interpreted it, because when the kids, so we made the announcement on a Monday, but we then let the kids choose themselves on Tuesday. So we had set up the gym, and we had everything out, and then the kids got called down by class, and they got to like basically shop. And there was just so many different
It's brilliant.
varieties. It was
Brilliant.
beautiful. Like, you had the big fuzzies that were maybe for a larger bed, but then you also had the sweet little snugglies that looked like Stitch or had cars. And the kids were just so excited to be able to not only just be given something, it was that choice and just the quality. I mean, I was
They were
amazed.
new
I was
stuff.
very.
It was
I
brand new,
very
but it wasn't just brand new. Hey, this was on sale. Like
Yeah.
people cared. Like it was.
Yeah. I know
very
when Beth
nice.
and I went shopping, it was, we went to Target, and
Yes.
I mean, she did it. I was holding the cart, but she got like the best stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, not to brag, but
Yes,
we're like, we
yes.
just, and I think a lot of
And it was
people did that,
nice.
right?
It
Because
was like
if we're
we
gonna
had
give,
amazing.
let's give the best.
And
And they
we
were even
had-
able to get pillowcases.
Yes, and
we
then
didn't
we
think we'd be able to
didn't
have
think we'd be able
pillowcases.
to afford to get pillowcases, but then
Didn't
of
even thought
course
of that.
we got pillowcases. Pillowcases are actually the most expensive part of the whole
Some
thing.
people gave pillowcases.
Just pillowcases, because
They were thinking
knew,
ahead.
Yes, and then when we because we were asking for all three, but knowing that pillowcases were going to be the most difficult. But even the pillowcases, I thought it was awesome that we had a huge delivery of the silk pillowcases, because we of course have students with different texture hair. Like people really thought
Yeah.
about what the students
Yeah,
might
yeah.
enjoy, need, like. So yeah.
So over 500 students, but a lot more pillows and blankets came in than 500.
Yeah.
And at least I know on this end, we wanted everything in on a Sunday, but we were getting things on Monday, Tuesday, and I think even Wednesday that week. And Liesel was kind of coordinating and you guys were maybe
Yeah.
involved with that.
I went to Liesel's and picked up another car full. Her kids loaded my car
Yes,
up again.
and then we had a staff Christmas party, and we did the same. Instead of giving
is amazing.
gifts that none of us need to each other, we all did our own, and some included in the big grouping, but some were brought to the Kershak's house, and Liesel took those home. So
Yeah.
they just kept coming in. So all the kids got pillows and blankets, but what did you do with the extras?
I do one of those segue, because when you were talking about
Yeah.
the staff also, that was also bringing our staff together, because us being able to talk about, like, because we'd be in the hallway after school and people would be checking in. And I mean, that was a great testimony to be like, did you know Edgewood Baptist staff, instead of giving gifts, are actually exchanging pillows and blankets and pillowcases? Did you know the youth group? And people were amazed. And just, it was a really cool feeling, not only to be, part of this church, part of this, like, everybody, feeling this awesome giving spirit, but I know sometimes in public schools, people think that we're not allowed to talk about God, but you can. You just have to do it in a way, and once again, not judging others, but we could share stories and and then people would ask us questions.
And when it's
they were asking us
generosity,
about Edgewood.
they're like, wow, those people care about us.
And I loved then, I mean, our name is on the websites, on the donor list, on the, it's all those little ways that you kind of spread.
And we got a thank you card, or were you part of that?
I was part of that.
Thank you. I thought I recognized your name.
Okay. Yes.
But there were pictures on the front of that card that probably went out to other business, because it wasn't just Edgewood. I saw there were businesses that jumped in, there were individuals that jumped in.
Everybody listed.
And that's what a community should do.
Yes.
Okay, so now go to, there's more than 500 that come in. What do you guys do? Because you guys pivoted.
We did. So Amazon, of course, was delivering late, so we were getting lots of things. So Vicki comes in and she's like, kept calling it the good problem. What are we going to do? So it just depended. So we did have some students that we already knew had multiple siblings we might have had in the past. So we made sure to contact and just say, hey, is it okay if we send home some extras? But then, of course, we also had the Angel Tree going on. So all of the Angel Tree families, they also got a bunch of pillows, blankets, all those things, and we're super grateful on top of those. And then since we had gotten this became so much bigger than us, because we would have people contact us. So we had someone contact us and say, hey, can I donate 17 bikes? And we were like, sure.
You're not going to say no at this point, right?
We're not going to say no. We're like, we don't know how we're going to deliver them, but you get them to the school, we will figure this out. And so it was so cool. The day of delivery, we had the bikes in a truck. My car was filled with pillows and pillowcases and blankets. And so we were out in the community dropping it, and then we were just knocking on the doors of houses that we knew our students lived. And when the adults would come and we'd be like, hey, and they'd be like, oh my goodness, thank you so much.
They had to be so grateful.
My student, Jay actually would just start talking about the day. Like, my student came home with this new pillow and blanket. It's so awesome. Thank you for doing this for our students. And then I would get to say, and we have extra. How many would you like? And it was
you just open your car.
Yes. And it was just like, it was how happy people were, and just something that we would think is so small, but yet they were grateful and just really appreciative. And and so it was just a really cool feeling of going out there, and it's always also nice, a positive point of contact with parents and families.
Absolutely.
Going out into the neighborhood,
it's positive,
just saying hi
instead of having to call to say your child misbehaved or whatever.
Yes.
Rachel, what have you observed about what happened among your colleagues, staff, teachers? Did you get a sense that we're all coming together here?
Oh yeah, it really brought us together, and like before break, because it's a stressful time of year.
Yeah.
We have,
You're all
as
scrambling.
teachers, and there's testing going on. There's just a lot going on, and it just, like, the day that we had to bring everything up from the basement, which, if you know our building, it's
huge,
no storage. So I don't know how many staff stayed after on a Friday afternoon to like help transport from the basement to the gym and the stage. And
you do an assembly line?
Yes, we sure did.
We did. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was, and I think on our Rock Island Facebook page, Sydney Erickson, who does our social media, she's awesome. She made a really cool video. And you can see all the teachers, and we then at the end got our picture with the big pile that you probably saw on the thank you. Yeah. And it was, somebody said, I don't remember if it was you or Vicki or somebody said, if you're not in the Christmas spirit now, then like I don't know what we'll do.
Something's
it for you.
wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
It was just, it was very neat to see everyone come together, and
and just even those staff offering to help, because we're all so busy, and it's a really large building, and we would have people, knocking at the door, hey, what do you guys need? Do you have enough of this? Or I'd be getting emails, hey, well, how can I help? And so it did really bring the staff together to be like, we need to make sure this is successful. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. What a joy to see what the Lord did and how he's using each of you as you live on mission in the place he's called you to. And that provides an opportunity, right? Where, Lord, here I am, use me for your glory. And you got to be part of something, I like how you said it, Jamie, bigger than you. Yeah. I mean, it was so big, one person couldn't do this. Yeah. Vicki couldn't do it, and she knew it. Yeah. She knew this was too big, but look what God did. It's incredible, and I can't wait to see how God's going to use this in the future. Every time those kids go to bed now, they're thinking of this.
Yeah.
They're putting their head on a pillow that was given to them.
And we still have students that are commenting on it or carrying their blanket in their backpack and like I said, we got lots of donations. So we ended up getting stuffies from PetSmart. So we had enough to send stuffed animals K through 2. So it was just like so many things that we were able to give the students that they're still going up to Miss Vicky and hugging her and just saying thank you. So
Make sure you tell Vicky thanks, and I'm sure you're going to give her the link to this so
Yes.
that she can watch this.
Yeah.
Let's transition a little. It's a little related. The work you guys do is hard. So how do you stay encouraged when your work, your ministry, that's probably the better word for it, just feels heavy and exhausting? How do you replenish?
I pray.
Okay.
Yeah. I think my faith has helped me a lot to stay encouraged. And we do have a very positive, like, close-knit staff. Like, we work as a team really well, especially maybe because I'm a sped teacher, but I think especially the special ed team. And, like, when kids come in, or, like, if you're frustrated or, something is, it's hard to put a smile on, and you see kids that come in happy to be there because it's their safe place and they know they're loved there and that they can trust any adult in that building, and you're just like, oh, yeah, that's why I do
Why
this.
I do this, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, seeing the kids just want to be there, and because after, like, we enjoy a 2-week break, but we know that our kids, those 2 weeks
Not all
are
of them enjoyed it.
those 2 weeks are rough for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Not all, but some. So when they come back and they're like, yay, I get to be back and see my teachers, and
They're getting love and sometimes meals, right, that they
Yep.
maybe their families can't afford, and the situation in their home life is hard.
Yeah, and I would say students. So in the morning, we all come out as the students are coming in because we have like breakfast line, or you can go to the gym to wait for dismissal to your classroom. And the hugs, like as you're walking in,
Yeah.
I mean, kids that I don't even know their first name will just come up and just, good morning, big hug. And so I think even when times are hard, I have to think about that this is these children's safe place, and they also bring, I mean, joy. I love to see them grow, develop, and even just the students in my classroom that I work with, they are awesome, and they, like I said, we have them for a while, and they start to read us really well. So my students, if I'm having a morning where, I'm a
They
little
know, right?
frazzled, I'm coming in, and one little boy in particular, he's in my first 8:30 group, and sometimes he'll look at me and just be like, do you need a hug, Mr. Ruberg? You look like about you ready to crash out. And I'm like, you're right. But it's like a nice check-in balance of like, you know what? You're right. Yes, I would love a hug. And I'm going to sit here for a second, like I tell you. And I'm just going to breathe because and I always reassure them, it's not actually them. It's like, you just have all those, I have laundry. I forgot to do the dishes. I forgot to change Cali, whatever it was. And you're just coming in like this. And the kids just bring such joy.
How cool that they're giving back to you what you give to them.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
do you need a hug?
Yeah.
Yes.
a few of my kids that I have now, I've had for 3 years, and they're with me. My kids are with
They
me
know
all
you
day,
well, and you
so
know
they
them
really
well.
know me well, and they'll just they'll give me a look like I can tell they're reading me.
Yeah.
So they're
Which you
constantly
want them to.
Yes.
That's a good life skill.
Yeah.
To look out in somebody else's, and we generally read people's faces.
Yeah.
Right. If eyes are downcast or there's no smile, and so you both work with special needs. What would be some common misunderstandings people have about children with special needs? I mean, I've already kind of identified one just from how you both answered, is a lot of children with special needs are able to give love and care and be kind to others. But what are some misunderstandings that come to your mind?
Well, first, special education can mean, it's across the board. So when people think special education, I think they automatically maybe go to like cognitive academics. Are they in a wheelchair? Do they have
they go to the
Yes,
extreme
they
in
go to
their
the
mind?
Right,
extreme.
yeah.
And we work with a lot of students that maybe it's just they come to me 30 minutes a day to get extra reading help because of academics or
Sure.
dyslexia.
Yep.
So like, I guess that's the first thing is when working with special education children, just like all children, we can't just like lump them
There you go.
into.
That's helpful to know.
Yeah. And I try to flip it and think about abilities, not disabilities. What are they able to do? And
Well, time out, listener.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Focus on abilities, not
Yes.
disabilities.
Yes.
That's a good principle
Yeah.
in general. It's a
Yeah.
parenting principle,
Yes.
right? If you focus
Yeah.
on
What
what they
skills
do
do they have
wrong,
and what-
then
yeah.
you're always on
Yeah.
their
Yes.
case. But if you catch them doing right,
Yes.
right? They're
Yeah.
like, oh, you noticed I
Yeah.
took the garbage out
Yeah.
or whatever.
Or my students
Focus
will-
on
yeah,
abilities, not disabilities.
Yep. And
Okay.
with my students, like I always talk about, we're problem solvers. So we are solution seeking. So like if they're upset and frustrated with this thing, I'll just simply look at them and they'll be like, okay, let's figure out a solution. You
Well,
know,
they know that.
They
that
do.
That's where you're leading
They
them.
know that I am leading them because we're not going to dwell in this thing. We've got to figure out how to go to the next level up. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I know, and you work in an instructional classroom, but still, I mean, all the kids are very unique with their abilities.
I have a huge range of kids in my class. So some of them are just more of a social emotional need and not like they have the academic piece down, but just need more help in the social emotional area.
Okay.
And it's just a huge range of abilities. And it's, yeah, like Jamie said too, it's people think of the extreme, I think, or when they hear special ed, they're like, oh, like maybe Down syndrome or something like that, or they're not going to be able to ever learn how to do this. Like they're limited. So just teaching them the right skills and building on what they already have.
It sounds like you guys work hard at not seeing limitations or disability,
Yeah.
but like,
Right.
okay, they have some challenges here. How can we come up with a solution? And since you see some of these students over the years, you're seeing probably some progress, maybe not in everyone, but you probably
progress
do
in different ways.
in different ways.
Yeah.
There you go. And how you measure it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, now they're saying thank you and they never did before.
Exactly.
Something small
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
And they need things like outside the box, like some things that'll work for one kid are not going to work with another. And it's a lot of thinking outside the box for,
Yes.
getting creative.
yes, getting very creative.
All right, so let's transition now and talk about some meaningful ways Edgewood can become more welcoming to families who are affected by disability or special needs.
Well, I have told many people that I work with, when I talk about Edgewood or they are asking like the buddy system, which I'm sure we'll be talking about in a few, I feel that this church is very welcoming to everybody. So you guys are like, you're already there. But I do know sometimes people get a little bit nervous as they think they're going
Yeah.
to do something wrong. And I'm not a parent of a child with special needs. So if I see someone, whether it's at church or at the store, I will sometimes just first approach maybe the parent, depending on the age of the child, and ask some questions like, how would you like me to interact? But then sometimes, I think, how would I be reacting right now if I didn't think this student had special needs? I know that I know there's a family whose son attends, and I think sometimes he might be on like his iPad or something, and I can sometimes hear it during the sermon.
Yeah.
And so like one day, when we turn in chat, I just simply said to him, "What are you watching?" And
You're engaging him.
Yes, just engaging. And I wasn't expecting him, because maybe he's nonverbal. I wasn't sure.
Right.
So that's the thing, is treating someone, I guess, with respect and but understanding the response might be a little different. So his mom answered for him, which was completely fine. But still, I wanted to make sure I was engaging in everybody sitting around me and not ignoring. And, so I guess with that, it's
That's
just looking
good.
for opportunities to just be welcoming, and sometimes it's hard. I know that growing up, I was much more nervous probably with this, but my mom is a nurse, and I remember being at like Walmart and somebody coming up to her, and I couldn't understand it. And to me, he was scary. He like kind of grabbed her arm. He was speaking, but it was kind of garbly. And she was just so nice. She like put her hand on his arm and was
It
like,
made an impact
yes.
on
And
you,
she
didn't
just
it?
was like, how has your day been? And so when he walked away, I was like, did you know him? And she said, oh, he was, a past patient. And if you notice, he's with a group. He's from the assisted living. And then it was kind of a lesson in, oh, I shouldn't have been scared. He was like excited to see her. He just showed it in a different way. So I also always think of that, like when I'm approaching any situation, like you just, how would I want someone to treat my child or me if I had a different need? So
What's cool, Jamie, about your answer to that is just a few minutes ago you talked about not judging. So in that setting, Edgewood member, attender listening to this, you could look around and see a child with an iPad and go inside, be like, these kids are always on their devices.
Get off the technology.
Right, that might be in your mind, and if that's in your mind, you're not going to smile at that child,
right.
and you might glare at the parent. Like, what are you doing? This is church.
Yeah.
Without thinking that this allows the parent to come and worship, and the parent's trying to help his or her child feel comfortable at church, and they might be nonverbal, and they're doing something on their iPad that's helping them.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a diversion, but whatever, it's not my job to judge.
No.
Yeah. There are a couple adults who have some special needs who come to Edgewood, and one sweet woman can't help her. She talks during the sermon and will make different sounds. Well, I've met her. I always talk to her. But my guess is those sitting around her have choices to make, right? Yeah. They can either think, we're so glad she's here, or why doesn't she keep quiet? Right? So I think that's one thing that's really important. And I agree with you. I think there's a lot of love at Edgewood, a lot of acceptance, and in large part that's through the influence of Celebrate Recovery here. We're just used to people being real, and we want to minister to people that way. What would you add?
Edgewood is extremely welcoming. I grew up going to different churches with my mom. Like, we tried different churches growing up, and I remember just walking into some, and you just feel like, not get a look, but some people be like, oh, you're not a member, or I've never seen you. You know what I mean? Kind of standoffish.
Or you're in my seat. You're in my
Oh,
seat.
yeah.
I have never had that happen here.
Yeah.
I have been in multiple different locations, and not once has someone ever said, you're in my place.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Funny story to that. So I had only been here a week. No, it was my first Sunday here. And I'm nervous. And I had already decided that I was going to sit in different places. I don't know if you've seen me. I don't sit in the front row usually. I'm usually in the back worshiping, or in the middle, and Beth and I bounce around. Well, that particular day, I was by myself. I think Beth was maybe down in the children's ministry. We had just come. And I got to my seat, and I'm nervous. Like, this is my first sermon here. I'm following a pastor who's been here 44 years. I'm, like, keyed up. And there's a lot of pressure because people are like, okay, we voted the guy in, but how's this going to work and all that. So I sit down. During the music, a lady comes up to me and she goes, you're sitting in my seat. True story. I got flustered. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I got up and moved. Well, I found out later it was all a joke. Like,
Oh.
she knew.
Yes,
she knew that I was the new pastor.
I was
and
like,
she was
what?
messing. She was messing with me.
That's funny.
But inside, I'm like,
it is.
why did I come to this church? I can't. I'm not sure I can preach, and now I can't even sit where I.
My mom had her fourth row, and on the certain. So my mom was very specific when we. She's like, Rachel, we got to get a fourth row seat. I'm like, Mom, it's okay if we don't. But I don't think she would have told anyone to move, but she was very, very set on her spot.
On her spot. So she got here early, and then it was fine.
Yeah.
So let's talk now about some of the things that are happening at Edgewood. Jamie, you've been very involved with that, and I know you're going to get more involved with that.
Yes.
And I just want to give a shout out to Marcy and her openness and her sensitivity for that. I think there's some training coming up. And Sheila as well. We always want to be welcoming. But what are some things that are happening now at Edgewood?
Well, I'm trying to think. Well, because of course Becca was in charge of nursery, and when I had signed up, I guess I shouldn't call it Sunday school, she had asked me to be in the 3 and 4 room, and when she found out I was a special education teacher, she had some questions because we had a student who they were having to call his parents out often just for behaviors, and so I feel like she's the person that kind of invented the buddy system. So she asked me if I would attend Sunday school with him and just kind of let her know. Just be with him and just kind of let her know what we needed to do to help. And it was a fabulous experience. And that particular student doesn't even have a buddy anymore, because sometimes we have to remember 2 and 3-year-olds, I mean, they're little.
They're squirrely.
So what looks like behaviors isn't always like a true behavior, because
it's developmentally appropriate.
Yes, and as we like to say, any behavior is a form of communication. So it was nice having that extra set of eyes in there to just kind of observe with, oh, he likes to sit in a chair and not at circle. That's okay. He will listen if we, or he needed to
But you were able
fidget.
to assess that.
Yes, I was able to kind of look at it.
Him.
I shadowed him. And so then I was like, I think sometimes noise is bothering him. And so right away she said, well, what should we do? And next Sunday, every room had noise cancellation. Or I talked about, we have some students that are still learning to talk. I mean, they're 2 and 3-year-olds, even sometimes 4, or they have speech delays. And I said, well, would you like me to get some visuals around? She said, no problem. Came the next week, there was already visuals made. I didn't even have to laminate them. So
She takes after her mother. That's why Becca does.
Yes, that's awesome too. So it was really amazing. So from there, it kind of grew to another family kind of asking about it.
Because they saw it.
And what was really cool, so, it kind of grew, I think, by word of mouth. Other special education teachers that also are helping in the nursery started signing up to be buddies. And just our role was basically to observe if we need extra time out, and getting to know the student. Like one student, he really liked to sing songs as we walked in the hallway. That was like kind of his way of self-regulating. And then we would join the group again. But it's definitely grown from there. So then when Marcy came on board, she's been having meetings with parents and then asking some of the special ed teachers some questions. And we've been able to now bridge the gap of, hey, they're starting, preschool or school. What are the schools doing that you are seeing are helpful, whether it's a special chair or we're also seeing, with the services, hey, how can we help? Like, do you need a special type of crayon? Do we need to do things different? Is it the noise? Like being able to have those open conversations with parents to like bridge those gaps of making sure then not only is the student, comfortable and safe, but that they're learning. And that has been really cool, just like in school, seeing that growth.
Because they're learning the gospel.
Yes.
They're learning Bible stories then.
And then some of these students I see once a month because of the rotation.
Right.
And so I see that
you see
progress.
the change.
So, I mean, one of our little buddies, when last time I was in Sunday school and it was time to do our worksheets and craft, and he just came straight to the table and started, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, it was like I wanted to cry tears of joy because you could see he has friends. And that's also a big thing, I think, for parents as well as teachers, is we want all of our kiddos to have true friendships and learn to play and not, and so it's been really cool. And I think that often as grown-ups, we also worry too much. I know I do, because the kids are completely fine. Because that's sometimes, even in our teacher land, when we're like, hey, let's try this thing, someone might say, it's not really fair to the other kids. And we have to explain that fair and equal are 2 different things. I have yet to have any of the students get upset if a kid gets to have our Bible story time in his corner while he's, putting his different toys.
It doesn't bother them, does it,
no,
the others?
They might look over and they'll be like, okay. Or sometimes a new student might like try it and I'll go, oh, we get to sit here. And they'll go, okay. And these are 3 and 4-year-olds. So I know that now they want to see, expand it more as families see the need, like trying to do more
and maybe
inclusion.
we can have more buddies.
Yes,
I think,
more buddies and looking.
And I meant to say too, it's Marcy and Tiffany, because they're a team there.
Yep.
One of the things I've learned from them is that this is a gospel issue, like how we treat people. And I know in some cases, I remember growing up, there were special ed students who were separated. And I think isn't now it's better to include, because that's teaching the other students, like you're saying, things that they do pretty naturally. You see it with race, color of skin. Kids 2 or 3, they don't care.
No.
We're the ones who get worked up about it. And So I love the direction Marcy and Tiffany are taking, like, hey, how can we serve? How can we, either the buddy system? Let's transition now and land this. If maybe, Rachel, you could speak to this. If there's a parent listening right now who's walking the road of special needs parenting 24/7, what would you say to encourage them? How would you want to, what would you want them to hear?
Always advocate for your child, 100%. And if your child's able to speak or advocate for themselves too as they get older, that's the best thing you can do, because as a parent, you know them best. And if you know something's going to work for them or something doesn't work, or different preferences, then you need to tell the teachers that, or any adults that are working with them, or anyone around them, and teach them to use their voice too. So when they get older, if they're able, they can say, you know what, that's not what I need, or advocate for themselves and stick up for themselves.
It just hit me with both of you. You have this posture of you want to serve this student. If the parent says, loud sounds bother my child, you want to know that.
Yeah.
You might not be able to prevent all the loud sounds, but you're going to be sensitive to that and do what you can with that. So that's a good word for parents. Do you want to add anything, or do you want to say something?
I think that was, when we talked about that advocacy, I don't think parents realize how important, we always talk about being a team, and parents don't always realize that they're the most important part of the team, and we don't know what we don't know. So whether it is loud sounds or even just like favorite things. I have had students that maybe are really into trains. Well, that's great to know, because we're going to make sure then during playtime that we can engage that student with some other students by starting to build the train sets. So it can be something as simple as that. But even as they get older, we work with, kindergarten through 6th grade, but the 6th graders, we talk a lot as students, advocate. You can't just walk into a room and expect everyone to know what you need at this moment. So advocacy is always a real big word that we share with parents. Don't be afraid to ask. The worst they're going to say is no.
Well, thanks. We could go on a long time. This is very fascinating. I love how the Lord has equipped both of you and your desire to help, your desire to serve. I think of Esther, who realized after her uncle Mordecai kind of challenged her, you're in this place for God's purposes. And then Esther saw that as her role as the queen and ended up saving the entire Jewish race because she spoke up. But it wasn't until she realized, wait, I'm queen for a purpose. I have the king's ear. I could speak up and lose my life, which was the risk she took, but she took it. And you guys are speaking up, you're advocating, you're serving, you're living on mission where you are. And so, listener, same for you. You might not be doing what they're doing, but God has a special purpose for you where you are. You're in the house or apartment or dorm room where you are right now on purpose, because you have neighbors. You have friends, where you work, where you find your place in life. So live on mission for the glory of God, and keep living that out. Parents, way to go. Persevere. Keep going. You matter to God. God hears you. God knows you. He sees your tears. When you don't know what to do, He catches your tears. And if you're not engaged here at Edgewood, make 2026 the year that you get engaged and you plug in and you use your gifts and your abilities for His glory and for the sake of the gospel. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time.